okay, how do you take your tiny little pixel characters and make them large enough so they are okay in Pivot? Now you can resize things in Pivot, but it's better to start with it at the size you kind of want it at. So here's how we're gonna do that. First, we're gonna take our little sprite sheet or pixel sheet here, and we are going to copy our character. So first, if you were just to copy this character, Control C and go File, New. And then say, okay, and it's gonna be very small, 12 by 27 or something like that. It's gonna be tiny. Control V. It's super small, don't try to grab it, don't touch it, just hit Enter. Now go Image, Resize. You're gonna make sure the check mark is on and it says Nearest Neighbor. Okay, those are the most important settings for this. And I'm gonna make it 100. Height, let's see, what height 100. Yeah, still going to be kind of small, but it's going to be a lot bigger than it was, and it's going to be a good size for my Pivot game. Now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make sure for right now I'm going to leave the white there and see if it works. So we're going to go File, Save As, and it's a PNG, which is what we want. And I'm just going to name it Mr. G character. You can call it whatever your character's name is. Make sure that it is in your drive where you would be looking for it. So in this case, I'm going to put it in my Pixel Game folder and save. Okay, now I'm going to go open Pivot. I'm going to go File, Load Sprite Image. And I am going to find that in my PC. Go to my H drive and one Pixel Game. There's my Mr. G character. Say open and check it out. I can see my character looks right. I can animate him or her, and they look great. Now, some of you might have a problem. I don't know if you'll notice, but some of you, maybe the eyes are see-through, so you might have this problem. I'm going to show you. If your character has white eyes, let me make the other eye white. Just so you can see what happens. Here, I'm going to fill this eye with white. And I noticed this with some of my students. They're having this problem. Okay, so if I copy this character, I go File, New, Control N, and then just say OK, and can paste it with Control V, and hit Enter. Image, resize. We're going to make it about 100, 150, something like that. Make sure the check mark's on Nearest Neighbor. Okay, save it. File, Save As. We're going to make sure it's a PNG, not a PDN, PNG. And then Mr. G white eyes. I'm going to save that one. So if your character had white eyes, you might have had a problem where the eyes were see-through. Cancel. So I'm going to go File, Load Sprite, Mr. G white eyes. And you'll see it says see-through because it's making the color white. All the color white is disappearing and is becoming transparent. So all you need to do to fix that is, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, is I'm going to fill the background with green. I'm going to make sure when I have my paint bucket on that this option is on anti-aliasing disabled. And I'm going to select, I don't know, it doesn't really matter what color, just in a color that's not already there. I'm going to make it green because it's going to make whatever color is in the bottom left-hand corner right there, it's going to make that color the invisible color. So I'm going to go File, Save As. Oops, cancel. File, Save As. Mr. White Eyes, Green BG. I'm just naming that for myself. You should always give your character a new name. If you make a mistake and it goes into Pivot and it doesn't look good, give it a new name. Save. Okay. Let's try loading that one into Pivot. File, Load Sprite Image, green background. Let's see if it works. Look at that. The eyes are not see-through. You can see I have white eyes, but the background is all disappeared. And you can also resize it in here if your character's too small or too big. I think it looks better if you have it the size you want it to be. You're going to notice when you turn it, it starts getting a little funky. And that's because it's a pixel image. So it's okay. It's okay if you see that kind of thing happening. Also, you'll be importing your other versions of your characters, your left-right characters. And then you can access those characters under the Add Figure button, and you can click on it once, and then we'll add another copy of that figure. So I can have Mr. G with the invisible eyes. I can add a stick figure back in. For this animation, we're not using the stick figure. So there you go. I hope that's helpful. And there you go. Peace out. Mr. G out. If I can